Hey guys, it's Mason FM.
You're listening to
CFRC 101.9 FM.
Hi, it's Paige. You're with 101.9 FM CFRC Live Sessions, and I'm here with Mason FM. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Can we get a quick introduction from everybody?
Sure. My name is Mason Forsey-Mackinnon.
What do you play?
Oh yeah, you can give us your little
Fair point.
backstory too.
Yeah. All right. I'm a singer-songwriter, living in Kingston now, and just trying to make music work to some degree. Play guitar and sing, and I came to Kingston last year and found this guy Jackson. So we decided, hey, we should play some music, use him to play bass for a band. We had a drummer, and then we didn't have a drummer. So then I asked Jackson, you know any guys? And then Zach came up in conversation, and we're like, hey, let's make this work for this show we've got in 2 weeks. And that's pretty much just been how it's went. We've got this show coming up. Let's rehearse. Let's do something. And then, yeah.
I love it. You just put it together. You sunk it all together. And how long have you guys been a band for now?
Me and Jackson, it's almost been a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so relatively new.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Zach, though, it's been
6 months or so?
about 6
Yep.
months. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're fresh you're fresh in Kingston, and Kingston has these different dynamics, right? They have their Queens band, St. Lawrence band, and their local bands, local scene, local talent. So where do you guys see yourselves fitting into that, or have you had any influences from other bands that have affected your sound, affected your stage show, or even just what you potentially want to be?
I'd say for a lot of it, I take more from like the acoustic singer-songwriter side of it. A lot of most of what I did before starting the band was these good old acoustic shows and stuff. And I got sick of it, and I wanted to use the electric guitar. So I think we'll kind of fit more of like.
And you did. I heard you play. You're absolutely wailing on it. How long have you been playing?
About 6 years. I wanna
Wow.
say. Yep. And we're just gonna play more music. I'm thinking where we'll fit in is more like a hybrid between like Willy Nilly and like more rock kind of bands, I guess.
And are those your influences? Who influences this band here? Because I know you guys all have your own side projects. You all have your own things you're working on individually. But I guess this is a double-sided question. So what keeps you coming back to Mason FM as a band? And also, what are the influences that come from Mason FM? And how do you get that? All that sort of vibes, yeah. Sorry. kind of loaded. You can take it as you will.
Yeah, no, I think the nice thing about us as a band is that Mason's right. It's like we can cover a lot more ground with those styles, with having him previously more like the acoustic singer-songwriter side. And then like me and Zach, we've been playing together in a couple other bands, mainly one other like punk rock band. And I think we bring more of a, it sounds different when we're playing as a band compared to the acoustic sound. And you can hear too, like we play, like what we played here, we play, some really aggressive rock songs, and we also play some slower ballads still. So I think that's what kind of keeps me coming back, at least, because I think it's fun to cover more genres rather than kind of say we're with this kind of band, right? We play this kind of music. I don't like
pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It could feel limiting. And that's something I've never felt playing with this band. Yeah.
And you guys have influences. I mean, you have all these different. I love that you guys play different types of songs. You got the ballads, you got the punk, you got a little bit of psychedelic, you got the rock.
Yeah.
Not all bands here are doing that right now, and you have the ballads. So who's a band that you want to be like? Who do you want to replicate? Or not replicate, but you want what they got eventually.
I think we'll all have a slightly different answer. Which
right.
Is,
okay. Well,
yeah.
quick fire them at me. What are we feeling?
I'd say for I've been a fan of so many different bands through the years. So like my influence at the start was a lot of like 70s classic rock and stuff. And then I was big into Metallica and all that. And then I did a 180, got super into the 90s stuff. Then more of like acoustic, Neil Young and Tom Petty were huge ones at the beginning. And then I'm huge into alternative like 90s Canadian Canadian alternative bands from the 90s. That's been the latest kind of thing, but I'll give it to Zach.
For me, I was super into progressive rock. So kind of, if we're thinking like back to the 70s, like Rush, Yes, early Genesis stuff. And when I joined Mason FM, there's a couple songs where I heard like, that kind of reminds me of this Rush tune or this Yes tune where I could, like one of the songs we're going to play today, Fantasy, there was some room there to kind of prog it up, as I'll say. Give it a little bit more kind of complicated stuff going on. So that's something I like about playing with these guys, is that there's room for that, and when I hear that, I like to take that opportunity. So a lot of classic rock influences for me, but also a lot of like progressive rock, mostly again from the 70s. For this band, kind of seems to fit the style.
Yeah.
Jackson?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know for me, I like this band also in the sense that we're just a 3-piece band too. I've always liked where, as a bass player, I can take a lot more liberties and fill a lot of space, especially, when there's a guitar solo. It gives me all this free reign to do cool stuff. So same thing, I listen to a lot of 60s rock, like that sort of psych rock era. I think Jack Bruce is one of the best bass players ever, so I try to be like him. And I really like the 90s stuff too. Like, I know my favorite 90s band is Ben Folds 5, which kind of is a good example of blurring a line between like punk rock and something that isn't punk rock, like jazz, right?
And so for these songs, I mean, so you all have this intertwining web that you guys like, this sort of, 60s, 70s. All of you have that, what you just described.
Yep.
So these songs you're going to play for us today, you want to tell me a little bit about them? Do they have that influence on you? Do you see them replicating a sort of band in a way?
Yeah.
Or what's the backstory behind them? Because I know you're playing 3.
Yeah. Mason knows more about, like, because he wrote all of the songs that we're going to play today. Yeah, but I'd say for us, it's like what I like too is that we definitely have those influences, but we also don't try to, like, I don't think, at least, does it sound like we're trying to sound like this era or anything. I think it just comes through naturally in the way that we play and the way that we, it's it
like
just
the
seems
interlocking of all of your styles
exactly,
together.
Yeah.
I'd say, I guess I'll name the 3. So the first one was Fantasy, and that came together in 2021 when I was just sitting on the bed, messing around with this progression based on a D chord. I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. And I thought, I actually got really technical with this, and I was like, what are these notes I'm playing? So I took whatever notes I was playing, made chords out of those, and I made a progression. And then from there, put together some lyrics about, like, pretty much, it's about a guy who has a dream about the future, but, like, it's really weird, and it's like kind of a weird version of the future where, like, art's kind of been generically kind of thrown to the as an afterthought, and it's about people rising up and bringing art back.
That's such an interesting story. I mean, how did you come up with that? Did you watch something that was similar to that, or you're just creative mentally and it just came to you, or you saw something or you thought about it? It's
Too many
like the
thoughts.
Beatles movie. Did you see that yesterday?
Nope.
So they talk about what would the world be like without the Beatles, and I think that's kind of the vibe of what you just said. Like, what would we do if we took a backseat on art? So where did that come from?
Just one of the, like, Jackson will agree. Like, sometimes I come up with really random stuff in conversation, and then just a lot of different ideas going on up there.
Right. So it's just like all coming to you naturally. It just comes. Yep. And you guys both, other parts of the band, do you write your pieces, or is it all just Mason tells you what to play, or you play what you are feeling like playing and then it all interconnects into the song? I'd
say it's a mix of both. It's like I'll come in with something and then we'll kind of feel it out from there, because it's like how it sounds in my head versus like how it actually sounds.
Hey, this is Mason FM. This is the first song we're going to be playing. It's called Fantasy.
population didn't feel like a zoo. Endless passions, hopeless dreamers, possibilities endless when you face your fears. Hive mind full of lazy ideas, tired virtues built on all of our fears. The worn old tropes of our parents' expectations, gotta break the mold and reclaim our nature. This is my fantasy, the one I dream when I sleep, yeah. What I used to see when I was out in my flesh, you can see me. This is my fantasy, the one I dream when I sleep, yeah. What I used to see when I was out in my flesh, you can see me. Reshaping the earth, breaking barriers built from birth. A matter of why, it's a matter of facts. For free thinking societies become ransacked. False believers and vicious minds, suppressing the ideas since the beginning of times. I dream of a time when we can speak, regardless of bias, though it feels bleak. This is my fantasy, the one I dream when I sleep, yeah. Out of my flesh and can see me. This is my fantasy, the one I dream when I sleep, yeah. The one I used to see when I was out of my flesh and can see me.
And so you practice a lot, you're playing shows weekly. And how much has that practice, like all that stage presence and, you know, playing in front of crowds, how has that changed your sound? Also, how has it made you better as players?
I'd say it's pulled it all together a lot tighter. When we started off, you know, like you could hear what it could be, and that was that was the best thing about it. It was like, wow, I'm playing with an electric guitar with bass and drums. This is awesome. And like the core of the songs would be there. You did play
solo for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. You said that.
Yeah, it was like a dream come true. And then like over time, I've kind of now toned it up to what the next kind of goal and expectation is. So just through playing more and more, we've gotten really good at kind of holding it together, playing off of each other's mistakes and all that stuff. Big one is I'll break a string or something bad will happen, and then, you know, they'll cue in. This is like between songs. We'll just like, they'll start doing a jam, and it's like, okay, awesome. Keep doing that.
Do you think it comes from like a chemistry that you guys have, or is it just the practice that makes you able to do that?
I'd say it's kind of chemistry. I mean, because Jackson and Zach play in another band together, I think that kind of helped quite a bit.
Go ahead, Jackson. Oh.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, that is a big part of it too. And this is also an interesting band because, like, I knew Zach well before this band, about a while before this band, like last summer, like I think 8 months before he was in this band. And one thing that I don't get to do as often in bands is improvise as much as we do and as effectively as we do. And I think a lot of that is from just chemistry. Like we kind of know what to expect from each other, and yet every time we do something like improvise, we don't know exactly what it's going to sound like, and that's like exhilarating to do live, especially when it usually sounds good. Yeah.
What I find is playing with a lot of people. I played in the jazz ensemble when I was in high school and played with friends all throughout it. And there's something like you can practice as much as you want, but there's something that you have to be. Everybody has to have that. You said chemistry is like a good word for it, where jamming together, you either do or you don't. You either jam well together or you don't, and it's really about how well you listen to each other. And I think, especially for Jackson and I, kind of sitting in the background and letting Mason present the song, we're really good at keeping an ear out for each other to change the vibe in an instant if we need to. And it's been really fun to do that during songs, but also, like we were saying, in between numbers, where if something goes wrong or if he needs to take a water break or whatever, we take 2 minutes to play something that we've never played before, and we always surprise ourselves. Yeah. If you play the last note and you look at each other and you go, all right, yeah, that was pretty good.
And so you guys played at the SLC convocation, and that was in the Leon Center. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? Like, how were the nerves? I mean, that's a big deal. So what was that experience like?
Yeah. I think I was the only one that had the chance to play in an arena before.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah.
during high school, I got the chance to play at Budweiser Gardens in London, and I mean that was amazing. Very different vibe though. That was in a kind of orchestra band environment. So this time being like the only 3 musicians on a stage, and it's not like people were necessarily there for our show, but there's a lot of people out there, and you see the. You recognize you're in an arena, and it's pretty crazy. Definitely, and it was a different experience of actually playing the show, because it was like we had maybe 10 minutes to set up, and it was very much go. So you almost didn't have time to appreciate what was happening before it was over. But it was a pretty cool, crazy experience for sure. I don't know if you want to speak on that.
I talk more to that. Like, it was like a curtain opened up, you blinked, and then the curtain closed.
Yeah.
Like, it was so quick, but like, it was cool. It felt good, and the sound, oh my goodness. It was the best sounding place we've ever played. And of course it was. It was an arena. But I'd say there was a lot more stress, more involved in getting set up and finding parking. Because
right.
My girlfriend was graduating at the same exact time, and I had her car, and we had to move the car because we were in a no parking zone, whatever that is, downtown Kingston. Anyways, so we were on in like 20 minutes, I think it was, and I was driving all around Kingston frantically trying to find a parking spot, and then finally text Jackson, and I was like, where can I park?
I told you,
yeah,
immediately, there it was.
It was still like a good kilometer away or whatever, so I'm just bolting to get there, and I got up like pretty much as we were supposed to go on. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was still it sounded the best as just like it's a room that's designed for that kind of sound. So that was really unique. I still personally, I really like, as great as it is, it's not as representative of what we do. And a lot of it is like playing bars, playing, places that are a little smaller where, in the same sense, not the people you're playing to don't really usually know you that well. And I think that's a good thing about how, especially because of how we don't have many releases, we're kind of just doing a show and just try to get as many people on this floor there to like what we're doing, and to hopefully follow us, right? And like check out what we do next. And I think we do a good job of that. I think we do our best for every show. whether it's on an arena or in, you know, the smallest bar you can imagine. We try to make it the best show that we possibly can.
Hello, this is Mason FM. This song is Growing Pains.
What age does it end? Got left by the reins. We gotta grow in pains. Unsure of the ground that I stand. Spontaneous yet never planned. What was mine till yesterday? Life's laments are in decay. 'Cause I'm here for the last time, saying about the good times, saying here's to a world of free. Here's to the last one, but knowing you're not the only one. Here's to live burning free. Look back, where did it all go so off track? Hurts to know how it was left, but who knows, maybe it was best. 'Cause I'm here for the last time, saying about the good times, saying here's to a world of free. To the last one, knowing you're not the only one. Cares to live, burning free. Some men were not content what life has in store. Heard it all before. Got potential and what age does it end? By the reins, we gotta grow in pains.
Well, all the big bands talk about, like, on the grassroots level, just getting yourself out there, getting yourself seen, getting yourself heard by people so they know who you are.
Yeah.
But I do want to bring it back one more time to the arena. So these big boys, big bands of rock and roll, they talk about, you know, the drug that is being on the stage when it's like an arena. Were you there, arena stage, you're like, yeah, okay, I want to do this. I want people to see me. Or do you appreciate being in the small bars? Do you want to stay there and just kind of do your own thing, do your own sound?
I'd say it was about 75% of like what the feeling was that we were expecting, or like I was personally expecting. It was just like, oh yeah, we're doing this. This is cool. Instead of like, oh my goodness, we're on a giant stage. We're doing all this stuff, but like, no, it was like another day in the office, which was really cool because like it's like, hey, it's another day in the office. We're on a giant stage.
I think for a lot of performers, I know for me, a stage is a stage. Like as soon as you're up there performing, it doesn't matter where you are. That, you know, farther than 10 feet out from you, it sort of fades away, and you're just focused on what you're doing. So a stage is a stage wherever you're playing. You just, like Jackson said, you're doing your best to give the audience a good show. And then when it's over, and it's like before, and then when it's over, you kind of look around and you're like, oh, holy cow. But when you're in that moment, we could be playing, you know, in a park outside, or you're on a arena stage, or you're in, you know, you're at the Toucan, you know, whatever it is. You're there to perform. You're in the moment for sure.
So real. I love it. Yeah, like it's just about the music for you guys. That's so like admirable, you know. It's not really about the, you know, the stage presence. And I think for a lot of bands, that's where they sit. They're like, I'd rather just have that, like, all about the stage presence. And you guys are really about the music. I appreciate hearing that. It's a very different, like, yeah. I mean, everyone's about the music, I will say. Every band, music matters to them. this is a perspective that I haven't heard before. Because most bands are like, I want to play arenas. No, you guys are about, you know, people hearing the sound. And so what's up with 2024? What are we doing? Where are we going?
Well, I've written too many songs.
I don't think you can ever write too many songs.
You haven't seen how many songs.
Too many to realistically, like, I have it planned out. It's just a matter of, like, you know, getting Jackson and Zach on board with kind of how we approach it. It's been too long since the first release, I will say. It was April 2022. And I just did that myself, and I did 2 more songs, but I wasn't happy with how they turned out, and it was expensive. So that's probably one of the things kind of holding it back, is the expense of it. I have since then accumulated most of the equipment that the studio had that I went to, so it's just a matter of finding the time with, you know, good old finals coming up and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think our plan right now is that, I think at least for a first release, we know what we want to put on that, and so once we have the time, we're basically just going to go. We've got a pretty good setup in like a home studio basement sort of thing, and we just need to set aside the time and just do as much as we can. Because I think that, especially now with how much access there is to the right things that you need to record, you know, a good album, we can just do that, and it will save a lot of money. And we are also like learning how to do that in school, both like me and Mason, and Zach also did that. So we should know how to do this. And then we'll have something more to present to the world. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank you guys for being here today and playing your songs for us. I mean, I love the sound that you were putting out there. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was 101.9 CFRC Live Sessions, and I'm your host, Paige. All right.
Thank you. You're listening to Mason FM. This song is In My Youth.
Another day, another crime, another content what life has in store. We heard it all before. Got potential in what age does it end?